I'm just looking, I don't know why, but um, looking into sun symbols again, and it's all pagan sun worship. Pretty much, it's everywhere, and there's so many symbols. Now, this is either Sol Invictus or Mithra, I think, in regards to four horses. And he apparently is usually prescribed, looked at with four horses, and well, anyway, and it's just interesting to see some of the Romans where they have four horses and come. Yeah, anyway, and I was actually looking for another symbol, but finding different. For example, see here if we can. Maybe no, but the problem is that maybe I didn't put it on. No, I probably didn't put it on. See here if we can find it. That was. Let's see here. Group after date. So I guess maybe this. There we go. There was like regards of the party over Rira Fankais. And one can look that up on Wikipedia and see another symbol as well. Do I actually have the other symbol from? No. So, but here we go with this one. It looks like a sun rising. Another one in regards to party. Socialiste is FEO. Oh, here we have in regards to the Nazi symbol, which also is the sun. It was actually a pretty good quality, for sale and all that. But there you can see the sun symbol in the cookie Jesus, the Roman Catholic bullshit, and the sun rays around it. Now there are other images which is even more clear that it's representing the sun, but oh well, that wasn't it. Where do we have? I had one more that I. Oh, okay, date. Let's try date here. Maybe this one? No. So pretty much. There should have been one more that I saved from the Wikipedia. I don't know where it is. Apparently, it's not there. I thought I saved it from Wikipedia. Maybe I took a screenshot of it or something like that. But, there was also the sun in regards to the party. Can't remember the details about that, but, it's just... so we have the Nazi symbols, of course. And what do I... Okay, so I'm looking at some of the Shemesh. Let's see here. Sorry, from Sumer or actually Shinar in regards to Hebrew. Here we go with the cylinder, seal, and modern impression, bold man flanking deity above, sacred tree. Sacred tree, in some places they talk about it actually being the palm tree. Now, of course, we know that the palm tree have been used then, and then we have, in regards of Odin, that was the oak tree, and of course now we have the what is it, the green tree, what is it called? Is it called the green tree? Can't remember. Anyway, winged deity holding homed animal and so forward. And here we see, as I understand it, this represents a god. I don't know if I can actually push and see a better quality, but okay. So let's see if we can load it. Apparently, oh, there we go. So this guy up here, as I understand it, represents the pagan god. And then we have this over here that represents the god of sin, I think he's called. So this is the let's see here. That's three, there's one god over there. That's in regards of the... I can't remember. Why can't I remember? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. But each of these, if I'm actually, there's one more over there, so I don't know. Is this like a continuation of maybe I'm wrong in regards of. But anyway, I'm trying the best that I can. So you have the so-called sacred tree right here, which I'm not sure what it actually is, but and then you have the god above it. And if I remember correctly, these also represents a god, but apparently there's one more. So not entirely sure it's a little hard to figure out and all that, and I'm sure, you know, it's just so, but you have the winged disc and all that in regards of sun worship. Let's see here, what do we have? Classical. Here we go with the oh, it's also interesting. You have the secretary down here, Sumerian winged solar disk. They actually also says it's a Sumerian winged solar disk. But they're interesting that you actually see this is a Sumerian, so that is in regards to Shinar, and that's the first place of you know, in regards of the first civilization. So we have the fish god stand here, you know, in the fish, and as far as I can see, it's a fish. So he has a fish costume on, and you can see that other places as well. And then you have three up here. I'm not sure if they represent the trinity of these false gods. You have the winged disc, and you have the moon, and you have the, it seems like the sun in the middle here, and you have people standing there and all that, and the secretary. I'm not sure how they would actually, you know, because I wonder how it actually looks in, you know, how they would have looked in regards of real life events and all that. But you know, you have pictures of different things and interesting in regards of pagan bullshit. Let's see what I else have here. So we have in regards of, I think it was Mithras or Sol Invictus, represented with 4 horses, which apparently is typical. We have a rising sun in regards to the Japanese flag. Apparently seems to also represent the sun. So this would probably be also us representing a sun here. You know, hidden, but you know, hidden just in front of us. But again, I actually was looking for the old Nazi symbol that is actually more rounded. Like, but of course it represents the sun. Interesting, it actually has 8 you know, it could, you know, whatever, you know, you see different pagan gods and all that. Let's see here, no, that's in regards of but I was looking for the, you know, more rounded form of the Nazi, also the first symbol of the Nazis, apparently before Hitler got into it, is this one. Of course, it would be nice with a more refined version, but this is said to actually come from the thing before Hitler got into it. And you can see the sun down here. It's pretty clear, I think. Of course, it would be nice with a even better quality. The video wasn't that good quality from YouTube, but here we see it later on, you know, having evolved, and you see the sun and all that, and you have many other pictures you can find out there. Well, many, but they're out there, you know. So let's see here. So I was looking for the round thing, and apparently this is a sun cross. Apparently you see that used as well in replacement of some of the others. It seems to be all pagan sun worship bullshit where they have different symbols. Here we go with the winged sun disk again. Order up chaos, order out of chaos. Usually goes back to the Freemasons. We can see the double eagle and the 33rd degrees of Freemason. And as I understand it, it actually is 39 degrees in Freemasonry. But anyway, order up chaos, order out of chaos, and some Latin bullshit that seems Dios, something like that. That's something in regards of God, I guess. Of course, the false god, you know, this is clearly the pagan god. You have the Eye of Ra, I think it's called, and doesn't matter which direction it is. It's like was like the 2 different aspects and whatever. It's still the same pagan bullshit. So yeah, Egyptian bullshit. So yeah, sun worship, you know, solar worship, and you know, as above as below and all that occult bullshit. Let's see here what we also have. So we had symbols of planet Nibiru and the king. Not sure. I thought it was in regards of, well, it seems like more sun disk, you know, Mesopotamian gods, it says up there. Mesopotamian, that's of course the area of, but here we see different sun symbols as well. Of course, this is something in regards of planet, whatever. We have some crosses here as well, apparently. We can also see crosses on different sun symbols, sun disk, and all that, having the cross in on solar disk. If you search on solar disk, you will find the cross in the solar disk. Here, as I understand, it's actually the trinity of the pagan gods. Satan have a way of copying everything. So I can't remember which one is which. I think that's the Shamash, and that's the moon god is Sin, and then you would have one more. I can't remember. There was a lexicon on this when I searched. What was I searching on at that point? That's a good question. Let's see here. Maybe I search on Shamash or something like that. Shamash. I think I must have searched on Shamash. Let's see here. Shamash. There we go. Britannica. I think it might have been something else than Britannica. No, okay. So this is Encyclopedia Britannica. And it says Shamash, Akkadian, Sumerian Utu, in Mesopotamian religion, the god of the sun. Oh, it's the god of the sun. There we go. And it says, who with the moon god, Sin. So that's the moon god, Sumerian. I wonder in regards of Sumerian if that is in regards of Sumer. It sounds like Sumer, right? In regards of Sumer. But of course, it should actually have been Shumer, but actually it should have been Shinar. So it would be a Shinarian, in regards to the biblical term. So that's Nana. I think that was also in regards of Inanna or something like that. More in, other information, other places. No. Easter is apparently. So, and Easter, there we go with Easter. Sumerian Inanna. So that's the Inanna. The goddess of Venus. Yep, Easter is apparently the goddess of Venus. Was part of an astral triad divinity. Shamash was the son of Sin. So you have like a trinity, but a trinity with, I guess, the Sin is the son, is the father of according to this, so Sin is the father of Shamash, and Sin is the moon god, and Shamash is the sun, and then you have Ishtar, which is, a goddess, a woman, a female deity that is, intertwined with these three, this trinity. And of course, that is of course not biblical, because the Trinity is actually Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So that it doesn't have the Ishtar thing and all that. It says Shamash, as the solar deity, exercised the power of light over darkness and evil. In this capacity, he became known as the god of justice and equity, and was the judge of both the gods and men. But this god apparently has someone that is above him, apparently, in regards of what was it? Let's see here. Shamash, Sumerian Utu, in Mesopotamian religion, the god of the sun, who with the moon god Sin, Sumerian Nana, and Ishtar, Sumerian Inanna, Inanna. The goddess of Venus was part of the astral triad divinity. Shamash was the son of Sin. So you see, the sun is then the son of the moon, and I don't know how Ishtar then is fixed into it. But when you see these images of three symbols, apparently it's said to represent these three, so-called deities. So at night, Shamash became the judge of the underworld, and apparently, as I understand it, when the symbol is there, apparently this represents a picture, at least as far as I understand it. This is said to represent the Shamash, the guy, apparently represented by the symbol, and that was something in regards to the things that he's holding and all that, symbolic things and all that. I can't remember all the details, and really, it doesn't really matter, because it's all bullshit anyway. We have similar topics on Isis, Zeus, and Athena, Apollo, Horus. Let's see if we actually... There's probably some good information in regards of exposing this pagan bullshit as you know, what it actually is. But it's, as far as I can see, it's just all, you know, sun worship in different flavors in some sense. It's... You know, it goes different places and, you know, it evolves here and there, you know, to different things. Like the tree, you know. So you have a palm tree apparently in Sumer. And then you see in regards of Odin being the tree of the oak or something like that. And then you have the green tree, you know, that we're using in our days. But it's pretty much the same bullshit, you know, just different variations of it. But anyway, so I didn't really find the thing that I was looking for, but it's interesting if you search on SunDisk, guys. I think it was SunDisk I searched on, and I found a lot of crosses, you know, in regards of Sunwheel or Sunwheel. Was it Sunwheel? SunDisk? No, it's Sunwheel. No. I wonder what I actually search on. There was something in regards of sun. Let's see if I have some historical thing. My brain is not working that good. You know, there's so many things, and again, the pagan bullshit doesn't really matter. But SunDisk, search on 5. Okay, yeah, let's open that one. And so okay, oh, it was in 2 words. Okay. Okay, so here we have SunDisk that I search on, and as you can see, here we have the sun, you know, and but here we have, you know, a cross inside the SunDisk thing, the rarest gold SunDisk from Stonehenge. Here we have an ancient iris gold, again a cross inside of it. Here we have that would, you know, maybe also represents the sun. That has 8, so I guess that might be Easter. I can't remember. You know, there's some differences here and there and all that. But again, another SunDisk, you know, with a cross inside of it. A cross again. You know, I'm sure one could do more research on this. Here we have another bronze SunDisk up there. And of course, you know, so these are SunDisk, you know, different forms of sun, but we have the cross inside of it. So it seems to be that the cross has been a symbol for sun worship, you know, one more. And, you know, you can do your own research on that. But, you know, if you want to follow that trail, there's so many trails. It's pretty much all over. Here we have them worshiping, apparently, the sun and winged SunDisk or winged sun, and you have a man inside of it, another cross, yeah, and more in regards of the sun with wings, you know, the solar deity with wings. So, you know, Satan is a copycat, but, you know, making people worship something that our creator created is just utter bullshit, you know. And yet people are... Oh, this was interesting in regards to the symbol of Shamash. Because you see that as well, different places. That's apparently representing Shamash. So you see this symbol inside, and you have 4 others around it. Yeah, of course you see it in bigger form other places, the Shamash. But that represents the sun god, apparently, and that would apparently be the son of sin, apparently, according to and I haven't gone deeper into it, but, you know, it seems to have begun at Babylon. You know, here we have another sun god. I think it's Mithra or Sol Invictus, or pretty much Mithra is pretty much Sol Invictus, but I guess there's, you know, something, you know, going on in regards of pagan things and all that. But anyway, there we go. You know, sometimes Sol Invictus and Mithra is seen as 2 different, but as I understand, it's the word Sol Invictus is actually a ecumenical term, so everybody could worship under one name in regards of the sun deity, you know, the solar deity. This is from what, Sumeria or something like that. I'm not sure. It looks like a tree or something like that, and then you have the god above it, the winged solar disk god above it, and all that. You can just see it here. So let's see. It looks like he's doing something with the tree anyway, and then above it there's the. I don't know where that is from, but again, if you search on Sumer or Mesopotamian, I'm not sure how Sumer and Mesopotamian goes hand in hand, but I think Mesopotamian is that is the area of. And also in regards to the Egyptians, you have the sun disk that is like red in color. You can actually see it. That represents the sun as well. That one. That is said to be a sun disk as well. So again, representing pagan, bullshit of, sun worship. So it's pretty much everywhere. The disc is found on, different places, on animals and, different characters and all that. Egyptian relief of the bull, and then you have a sun disk on the horns and all that bullshit. Yeah. And of course you have the snake as well. You find the snake, many pagan religions and all that. The snake makes its mark. Sometimes you also see the dragon, which is also a symbol of Satan. Here we have the solar wheel bullshit, and it's not even hiding it as this. It's when you begin to, there we go. Might be some. There we go. There we go with the sun disk, right? So what do you do in regards? The pagans. You can find pagan drawings and all that has the sun disk behind the head. So what do they do with in regards of so-called Jesus and all that? They draw the sun symbol behind him, on others. They pretty much just so-called put on sheep clothing, still the same pagan bullshit with new names and a Christian outlook. How deceptive could Satan be? Pretty much. Well, he's very deceptive. It's incredible. Sun symbols, sun symbols, sun symbols. Oh, here we have the Shamash. This is what represents the sun god, Shamash. So that apparently, according to the Wikipedia, is the son of Sin, which is a moon god. So, whatever bullshit, And how these three go hand in hand, I can't, I've heard different stories and but I'm not entirely sure how it overall go hand in hand, this false trinity. But I guess the two Babylons might talk about that in regards to this false trinity, in regards, the book Two Babylons, which it's a book that is pretty much attacked for its views, because they say we know that in regards of how they worship. And I haven't gone deeper into what we have found out in our days, but I know there's usually an agenda to discount the Bible and discount biblical truth. So one really have to be careful. This again looks like a tree, of some kind. I'm not entirely sure, but you can also, in regards to the what do you call it, the standing with something that looks like a tree. It's coming from the ground and actually going also behind him, the tree. So he's standing with at a tree, it seems, and then the sun god is above it, and you see some of the where they say it's the sacred tree. So we already have something with a tree. And if people say there's nothing in regards of a tree and pagan and all that, that's utterly bullshit, because I've seen one picture after another, and also also talking about this is the sacred tree, so-called sacred tree. And here we have a sun disk more in regards of Egyptian bullshit and all that. So so you see all this going on. Oh, here we have a sun disk in regards. Of course, we can probably also, probably all these symbols probably had colors on, and we actually have the technology to actually make these colors again and actually find out what colors was, just a little painting, some small what do you call it, some minor things that is still that we can perceive, but with technology we can go in and find out what colors it was. We can actually restore the colors. It's actually pretty neat. So in the future, who knows of the technology in the future, if one could actually just go around and take a camera and just look at it and it would fix the colors automatically. That would be, I don't know, but anyway, maybe that's a little too. But here we have the snake again, right? You have the sun and the snake. A little bittle snake is sitting there. The symbol of Satan. That's again from Egyptian bullshit and all that. We have a caterpillar, or what is it called, the beetle or something like that, with the sun above it. So, and then we have the Eye of Ra, which also in regards to the sun. That's actually interesting. See here, that actually is in the. You see the moon, and you see the sun disk inside. So you have the. You have the. Once you see, there we go. Looks like the Eucharist of the Roman Catholics, doesn't it? Putting the, the sun cookie or the solar disk into the monstrance. And of course, Roman Catholicism is just pagan bullshit. And of course, the Eye of Ra is also in regards to the sun, the sun or the solar thing and all that. So that's an interesting. I wonder if this is a new made or an old made, because they say out of stock. So can you actually buy it, or is it actually fake, or is it a replica of something of old? It look. Let's see here. Oh no, $250 for one. Oh, it's already sold. Okay, it's just one single one. $250 for it. Pagan bullshit. And actually, you have it in a much more, it's pretty big, sun symbol. Ancient Egypt Faienza sun disk amulet, 600 BC. An amulet, apparently. Looks like something that can stand on the, on a table or something like that. But you see the rounding here, like representing a moon, and then you have the sun disk in it, with the Eye of Ra, which again, anyway, interesting, right? Anyway, solar bullshit everywhere. Absolutely wicked pagan sun bullshit everywhere. It just keeps on going and going and going, and you also see the symbols that they're using, these Satanists. And it's just incredible. I actually had where they had one with a Nazi flag, which represents the sun, besides the flag of Japan in regards of. It just keeps on going and going and going and going and going with all these sun worship. I mean, it's see, yeah, we have more in regards of symbols, the planet, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's actually a 6. That's a 6 star, apparently. The sun. That actually, I've seen symbols where these. Usually, it's talked about in regards of the Jews. They have the star of which they call the Star of David. But yeah, that's the moon. That was, guess it's the tree in the middle, and I guess you have fixed the sun disk in. With the man in it. It seems. It's still a little hard to decipher these images, but usually they stand like, so that probably is the tree, but I'm not entirely sure. But you can see images where they stand with this thing, and they stand, pointing, and usually there's a tree standing in the middle and all that. But instead of it, I don't know, it's just utter bullshit. So could we please get to the next one? In regards to the planet Nibiru and all that, that's a lot of a lot of bullshit. But here we see it. Oh, no, why are you going so quickly? Can I go the other way or no? It's just a slideshow. What are other bullets? Trying to look at different things and then it just just skips. Here we go. Give me a break. And here we have the cross up there. But this is. Oh, there we have more crosses here apparently. I don't know, crosses and on that as well, but I'm not sure where they got these things from. That's a Hittite, okay? The Hittites, that's Turkey, Apparently they use the cross as well, apparently, according to this. I don't know. It would be nice to go to a museum again in regards to these things. It's just annoying. It just turns around before I actually can see the things, It's very annoying. Anyway, so sun symbol. So let's close that down. And yeah, another sun symbol. Sun. Apparently this is also sun symbols. Here we go with the Shamash or Utu, which is, as we saw, Utu is just another name for Shamash. So that's in regards to the sun. Of course, we could look and see if we can, there's a Christian Wikipedia or something like that. Let's see here. Going to open. Some gas. There we go. So here we have Utu, or the god of the sun, justice, morality, and truth, which is just pagan bullshit in this instance. But let's see if we can actually go look into. So this guy that is sitting on the throne represents. Let's see, that god. So that symbol represents that guy, as I understand it. There's a connection between these two. And then we have the moon, which is apparently the father of that, of the sun. Which then we have over here, and usually it's like 8, but maybe there's more on this one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like there's 8. And that usually represents Easter, the god of Venus, according to some sources and all that. And then you see the Sumerian language, which is called cuneiform, I think, where you can, make it in clay and all that. And I haven't looked deeper into that, but, but in any case, I saw how they made it in clay. You use a tool to do it and all that. But these are the triune Trinity God, pagan Trinity, which of course is not the same as the biblical Trinity, where you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, of course, there's some interesting in regards to the Jews, in regards to Shekinah. That's interesting, where they actually make this Shekinah spirit that's female apparently. And they invite this female spirit. I wonder if they actually picked up some of these pagan bullshit. And, well, of course, they rejected the Son of God, right? So, I wonder what he's sitting on something, which I'm not entirely sure what represents. It looks like half man animals, and they're standing with something. Again, if we could actually figure out in regards to the colors, because they found out that a lot of these things that we see, which don't have any colors, actually did have colors in the past. And there exists some technology today where we can actually restore the colors. You can actually check what colors there was. They just need some very small, minor, and they can actually restore the color. So they actually have on some of the things. And here we have, it looks like the fleur-de-lis. I'm not entirely sure, but that could maybe be, you can find the fleur-de-lis as well in regards of Sumer. Sumer, which they say actually should have been Shumer, but biblical is Shinar. So maybe we should just call it Shinar. But anyway, it's not so clear but it looks at it like the fleur-de-lis but I've seen others where it's more clear. But I guess that might represent the pagan Trinity. I don't know. I'm just trying to, I'm just going by, trying to sort things out. I read in regards of he's holding something in his hand, and that represents something in regards of, I guess, laws or justice or something like that. But I can't remember what it was, but something in regards of, representing justice or whatever, But it's still a pagan god. I thought it was the king or something like that, but apparently it's actually going back, it's the symbol represents that specific god, apparently. Okay, so we have Utu. According to this, Utu was the twin brother of Inanna. But isn't Inanna a female deity? Inanna was Easter, as I remember it. But anyway, as I understand, there are books about these things, if one wants to go deeper into, the only thing the only reason why it would be interesting was to expose Satan. And of course, Sumer would be the first place where you have civilization and a downfall of man again. Here we go. Version of the ancient star, and then a thing and says sun, symbol of Shamash, there we go. So version of the ancient star or sun, symbol of Shamash. So you have the sun and you have this, so you see all these rays, and then you see but if you actually look at the Roman Catholic monstrance, you can see sometimes where there are two different, there's the rays and that's the lines, so apparently we have Shamash depicted on bronze coin struck in Hatra 170 to 135 AD, and then you can actually see the guy with sun rays around, rays coming from around his head. And here we have the Assyrians in regards to the winged sun emblem, in regards of, I think that represents Shamash as well, but it says it's the symbol of Zoroastrianism. But, again, paganism have a way of evolving, and taking a little more here and taking more there and so forward. So I'm not sure about all the symbols here and there yet, but, I really shouldn't put too much energy into it either way. But just to, we have Rome, and here we have, a sun disk with the moon underneath it, which again looks like Roman Catholicism bullshit and all that. There we go. Looks like the Shamash inside the moon, the moon god underneath it or whatever. I don't know how they have found out in regards, we have writings from Sumer, or Sumer, as they call it now, but apparently that was a mistake, so it actually should have been Sumer. But again, according to the Bible, it's Shinar, and not Sumer or Sumer, it's Shinar. So, the Shinarians, not the Sumerians, but the Shinarians. So, but apparently that's their god. And of course, we know the beast of the book of Revelation have some Babylonian in it. It has some Medo-Persians in it, and it has some Grecian in it, and of course it's Roman. So you pretty much have 4 things inside this beast, and of course we do see that in Roman Catholicism and all that. So it's, and it's also interesting to see these, I guess they must be priests in fish uniforms, because you have the fish hat of the Roman Catholics, right? A lot of coincidences, right? Yeah. Maybe it's not so coincident, Here we have the rising sun, the innocence fascist symbol. So, there we go. From I think it's the Japanese flag. The innocent fascist symbol, the rising sun. Yeah, anyway, let's see if we can, there's a lot of symbols here. Actually, we have this, I actually put the same symbol inside the rising sun and all that. But anyway, let's see here if we can find if there's anything more. I did find where they had like the two together. Nah, I have this, again, think sun. Just think the solar thing, okay? What is that? That's a Nazi flag, right? What does the Nazi flag represent? The sun, the solar deity. It's a symbol of the sun, and it's inside, something that looks like the cookie Jesus of the Roman Catholics. And when you then find out that Hitler was raised a Roman Catholic, and that he was in good standing with the church until his alleged death, fixing the pieces together, looking at the oath that they are taking, the Nazi soldiers, and looking at the oath that the Schwitzguards is taking in the Vatican, and seeing and all the symbols, the eagle leading back to Rome, the fascii leading back to Rome, it's all pagan bullshit, And of course, the fasciitis is found in the U.S. Senate, I think it's called. So I think it's the U.S. Senate. You have two fasciitis, and you see them in connection with Rome using the fasciitis. In the Senate as well, the Roman Senate. I saw a movie, where you see the symbols here and there, and you also saw them actually walking around with the fasciitis, apparently with this politician, and I'm not, whatever, I don't know, it's a movie, but still interesting. Here we have a picture from, which is also an interesting picture. Let's see if it's a little bigger here. But it's all pagan solar, worship, So it says, why is the Japanese rising sun flag socially acceptable was Japanese fascist? Apparently it seems like the Japanese might have been fascist. I don't know. I don't know much history in regards to that. But maybe there were in regards of the fascism symbol of the sun rising. And again, you can find Nazi symbols where it's just you see the sun on the sky, with the Nazi symbol and the sun rays and all that, and you see Hitler on the image and all that. It's just there in your face, and you see them use language in regards of, the sun, going, for the sun, you see this, you can detect it when you begin to, Anyway, let's see. Where is the image of this thing? Well, they're talking about why this is okay if the other is not okay, but the image apparently is not there. I don't see the image. Look at. Okay, maybe I should need. Okay, let's see. Why is the rising sun? Oh, there we go. So this is a picture from what looks like Japanese. So let's see what is there. There we go. So you see the Nazi flag, which represents the sun, and then you see the Japanese, which apparently also represents the sun. So you have two sun symbols, along each and I'm not sure if the cross also represents the sun. It might actually do, but looking at the symbol but anyway, there's a lot of different symbols that represents the sun, and of course, apparently they also seem to use the cross, but yeah, not sure how that goes, but that seems to be a Japanese thing, and apparently, this guy apparently is asking why why is the Japanese rising flag socially acceptable in the U.S. while the swastika is totally unacceptable? And I guess he links the two together. I guess that's why he asked, I occasionally see the Japanese rising flag on cars, clothes, wall arts, and so on, and they are never taken negatively in the US. In my limited knowledge of history, the Japanese rising sun represents Imperial Japan, like how the swastika represents Nazis. I'm curious as to why why the Japanese rising sun is socially acceptable when Imperial Japan was that directly attacked U.S. soil during World War II and was the main enemy of the U.S. Although Japan denies, isn't it almost certain that the Imperial Japan massacred and experimented on human subjects same way the Nazis did? What makes Imperial Japan more acceptable than the Nazis? And then he's, looking, for this Japanese flag. But the thing is, it's both sun symbols, solar symbols, which of course is interesting, right? It's incredible how the world can be deceived by these things. It's just in our face, and yet people don't realize it. Yeah, I guess it's a. Oh, can we actually zoom? No, that was not much zoom. But and it doesn't really matter in which direction the swastika is. It's just, again, you have the two. In paganism, you have have the female male aspect or black and white aspect. You have so it's all this bullshit and all that. So again, it doesn't really matter which direction the flag or the symbol is, as So let's just close that down. But interesting, a Japanese flag. Apparently they also seem to have used. Oh wow! Here we go with some of these. I wonder if it's actually going back to what is this? Is this Google or something like that? But here we go with the sun symbol again in regards to the Nazi symbol representing the sun. There's some new ones I haven't seen here. I wonder if this is new images or old images from we'll see. Let's see here. But of course, more and more. It says Third Reich, Germany, 1932 swastika, rising sun, Bismarck. So it seems like it must be a picture from. There's many more. Wow, there's a lot of them actually. Third Reich, 1933, Mayday. I wonder if this is. Wow, that's a lot. You can see it here. So if anyone is there we go. What does it look like? Well, the sun, right, with a symbol. But I'm not sure if this is actually valid because, well, maybe it is. Maybe they already had changed the symbol in 19. I guess they had, because of course it takes some time to actually get into power and all that, right? So here we have sun symbol again, Nazi sun symbol. Is there anything on there? It actually is, but it's hard to see. It's in the background. Rising, right? Sun symbol, sun symbol, sun symbol. And here we go with German something, sun symbol rising. Do you get the idea, or do I really need to... there's another picture I have on my Facebook where Hitler is standing on the picture in the foreground. And yeah. Wow, that's a lot of... There's another one, postcard, the Third Reich postcards, There we go with the sun symbol again, rising. And so all of these flags, just represents the sun. The pagan sun god. Of course, if Hitler was a Roman Catholic until his allegable death, of course it makes totally sense, And you can also see, in regards to churches where they have the symbol and all that. But yeah, you have, it's just a hint, right? Look at it. It's the sun. So, and actually, I was looking into this and, linking the pieces, and then you begin to see then you find one image, it's like, oh, and then you find another, it's like, there's so many, pointing that the symbol, indeed represents the sun. So you have so many links, so it's not, I don't think it's even a secret, it's just so clear. It's just out of the box. And here we have another one, and actually, yeah, here we have I haven't seen that, but apparently that's another Nazi thing here. Let's just filter them, like Hitler standing there, and you have the sun symbol rising in the background. And you have again the sun, It's a little hard, because they're so small, but some of them are pretty clear that this is. So it's pretty much just sun worship, pagan bullshit, So yeah. And of course, it makes a little difference in regards of, all roads leads back to Rome. I have no idea why we haven't, been shown these evidences and all that. Yeah, and here we have the Shamash symbol again. It actually does look a little like the Iron Cross, I guess, this one. But it does have those four things in the between of it. But that's apparently representing Shamash symbol, which also have other names. But, you have all these different names for and that represents the sun god. And we have one more of the exact same thing. It's not, you can't, it's just hard to see the fourth thing that usually should have been there, but you see it there, and there. I'm not entirely sure how that, I guess it's in regards of representing the different, as you see on the big Shamash, But again, the winged false god of solar worship and all that, it actually says winged sun disk, one of the oldest and most important solar, and then it doesn't really say more. Then we actually have Sumerian amulet, where we have, again, we have the Shamash, we have the Sin, and then you have the Easter. It just seems a little... So you have Easter, which represents Venus, and then you have the Sin that represents the moon, and then you have the Shamash representing the sun. Let's open that as well. And then again connected it with sacred tree, right? So you have all this bullshit, and we're just pretty much still doing a lot of the, things. Why are we doing it? I have no idea. We have 8. It seems like sometimes there's different images. I do wonder in regards to their view. I guess it must be in regards to the religious thing, in regards to how it all connects, and maybe different symbols represents, because, different symbols inside where the sun usually is. Again, they probably had this story or whatever, and, this and that, and merging together. And so we have a winged sun disk, one of the oldest and most important solar and religious symbols. That was in regards to this symbol we just saw. And again, they're just showing more of that bullshit. And we have the serpents and the sun disk in regards to the winged sun disk and all that. So, yeah. So, yep, that's pretty much it, I guess. Here we go. This is a Sumerian. And, of course, Sumerian would be in regards of the Sumer, which is in regards of Shinar. So, there's actually Shinarian. So, again... If it actually goes back to the time of the first civilization, they already did wrong, We already see that they already have gone totally... also seen where they talk about this is, maybe Nimrod, and you see the mountain, and you see the sun god on top of it, and see all the people downwards, and again, collecting all the images here and there, you see that they are doing... They're doing wicked, They have turned to paganism, Oh, by the way, I have... I think I heated my pan. Yeah, it's heated. Oh, yeah. Have some fish. I love this. I love this fish. So, it's cod. In English, I think it's called. It's frozen, so it's going to take some time to fix anyway. Maybe I should just put the heat a little down with some coconut oil. I really need to figure out in regards to the fat. I need to have a fat sauce that doesn't have sugar in it. I need to totally go zero sugar. Zero sugar. Utterly zero sugar. And sadly, butter, which I really like, has sugar. And the other thing, butter oil is just horrible. I don't like butter oil, It doesn't taste as good as butter. but it doesn't have any sugar. But anyway, here we have the Sumerian amulet in the sun. So let's turn this around. So here we have, it's a really bad picture of the sun here, but it's hard to see what is actually depicted in it. But we have the moon represent. So this is just Shamash. And interesting enough, if you have Hanukkah, the candle light in the middle actually is called the Shamash, which is interesting. But they say in Aramaic it means the helper or the servant. I don't know. It's just I guess it's just one of these coincidences, that a festival which Jehovah have not commanded, and which actually is close to the the winter solstice, which actually also we find sources connecting this festival with the winter solstice, and of course we know that there are so many things. I could collect all of it, but anyway, that's which I would have liked people to answer, but it seems like people are defending Hanukkah as much as they are defending Christmas. And a lot of people attack Christmas, which of course is pagan bullshit, and in regards to the Mass of the Roman Catholics, it's Roman Catholic tradition. And then they go to Hanukkah and, use these weird arguments in regards to defending that. But anyway, there we have the moon, we're representing sin, the false god sin. According to the Wikipedia anyway, and then we have Easter, which is represented by an 8-star. I'm not sure if she can be represented by others, but typical you see like 8 in total. You have 4 and 4, representing Easter, and there's some circles inside of it and all that. I don't know how it works out in regards to that view. I know the 2 Babylons, I think, talks about this. It does talk about the false trinity of the pagans, but I haven't read it or listened to it. I wonder if I don't think these 2 guys that I know reads a lot of things. I don't think they actually have read that book. Would have been interesting actually. I have found one guy that actually reads the book, but I haven't really gone deeper into it. But apparently he talks about, he believes in the real Trinity, the real biblical Trinity. And he talks about the pagan Trinity. I don't know if he got it right and all that. Some say he made some assumptions and all that. But I guess you have to use some assumptions, and you use the Bible as your guide to help you with whatever information is out there. And I don't know, I haven't read the book, and again, sometimes it's just hard to, sometimes you just can't really verify it or not. Sometimes it's hard to verify things. I remember when I was listening to Alberto Rivera, and I was like, I didn't know, and then you begin to verify a lot of the things that he said, and I'm like, okay, there are some things I absolutely would not agree with, some prophecy thing and all that. But even if you're honest, you can make mistakes and all that. So it's not a big, But there's a lot of things that he actually told that was absolutely true, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. And then you have the Roman Catholics just saying that, oh, he's not true and this and that and all that, just attacking him, and when you can see that these things are true, and you have Roman Catholics going into the deceptive mode and all that, it's just, something is seriously wrong at that point then, anyway, the pagans have a way of defending the pagan tradition, Here we have a Sumerian again, and if you actually search on Sumerian on the internet, you can find, a lot of pictures and videos as well, where there's a lot of fake pictures. I think I saw 1.5 hour of Sumerian, and it was just it just flicked through the pictures from Sumeria one after another, And I looked at that. I paused the problem was that I was sitting there and pausing the video all the time because I was so found something interesting and I want to look deeper into it before the next picture and all that. But here we go with the Trinity God again, where we have three gods. So we have the moon. There we go. So again, you see this over and over on multiple images and all that. So you have the sin. You have the Shamash, and then you have Easter apparently. And again, I'm not totally sure how it actually totally goes together. And here we go again with here we see, I guess it must be the Shamash. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, is that 5 or 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually 6. And that's 6 on the other, so that's... And again, it's like symbols that, it's like symbols that, you have the two different, differences of. So I do wonder what it could represent in regards of Easter or whatever. And maybe all of the three are together on that picture. I'm not entirely sure, how it all goes together. But there you see the moon, and inside the moon is is the symbol, which... as I understand, it represents the sun. Maybe there's some information. Here we go in regards of Sumerian knowledge of the sun, moon, and stars. Well, that's a bad description, I guess. But anyway, let's see what they say about this picture, if there's any information on that. No, it doesn't really say anything. But yeah, okay. Here we have another picture of these... Shamash thing and all that, and usually you can also find the snake here and there, but this is a where you have the moon. And if you just think around about the Catholic cookie, right, they put it in this monstrance, and many of the times in regards to the monstrance you can actually find this moon thing. And of course it's interesting that the Mohammedans, when you actually look at Roman Catholicism in some sense representing the sun, the solar deity, and then you have Mohammedans that have the moon, and when you know a little about in regards to the occult and all that, that's just interesting, yeah, how they love to all that symbolic bullshit and all that. Hiding what they actually believe from the people. Here's another one in regard. So let's see here. The Epic of Gilgamesh explained as Anunnaki ancient alien propaganda. I don't know. It's just... there's a lot of bullshit out there, and you have to be aware there's a lot of bullshit because there's Freemasons out there, and they are pretty much deceptive as well and workers of Satan. Here we go with this looks like Sumerian text. Yep. So on the top on this stone is these three gods of theirs. There you see it. You see the sun god Shamash. Then you see the sin representing the moon, and then you see Ishtar representing Venus. And as you can see, eight stars. Or what 1, 4 in a 4 thing, and in the middle like a circle, which I'm not entirely sure how they represent this Trinity. I know in 2 Babylons, I know they're he's talking about this, so I do wonder if he might have some insight into this. But you can see it's the stone is. The stone is the old writing of, cuneiform, I think they call it. So yeah, it's a pretty, so this is the triads of this pagan. So again, I'm not entirely sure what they totally believe yet. I'm still, Here we have Shamash, again, Shamash, in the middle here. Let's see what they actually says. No, they don't really say anything. But the Shamash in the middle, and then you see the 3 symbols up here, representing the Trinity, the pagan Trinity. There must be some information on this, some more information how that works out. I saw this guy, trying to to take down the guy that wrote the two Babylons and all that, because he says we know so much more about things and Sumerians and all that. I wonder what he actually would say about these three symbols, because these three symbols are there again and again and again. It just seems like it's something is going absolutely on, and of course that's interesting. Let's see if we can find the image again here. One could collect all these images and just make a video actually, because the problem is a lot of people don't really use time on. People don't want to study things, and where is that image? Apparently it's not there. Can't find the image, but up there, right there is three images. This is the symbol of the moon, and the question is, let's see here. Okay, that's 1, 2. It's a little hard to see those two last symbols here. Not only by the mobile, but also I can't see which one of them is Shamash. But this Shamash, it's a little hard to see. It's two. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this might be Easter in the middle, actually. I think this one is Easter. Or Inanna, or whatever, Inanna. I think that's the Venus thing, and... I open up. And I guess the up to the right is this one must then be Shamash. But it's really hard to see, to say the least. The image is not that good. But 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pushing on a button again. Yeah, I think the middle one is the Easter thing, and Shamash over here, and then the moon. But the moon is apparently there's a button I'm hitting into. But the moon there seems to be a circle as well in regards to that. But of course, I can't read the text. I'm sure if you actually could read the text, it would probably help a lot. And there seems to be this fleur-de-lis again. This here we go, the fleur-de-lis. But we call it the fleur-de-lis, right? It looks like the fleur-de-lis. So again, it might just represent the Trinity, the pagan Trinity, I guess. That's the best that I can do anyway. It's interesting because, you're looking into things and coming to some conclusions and here and there. And then you sometimes just get verification about it, Then you begin to read other things and you find out, oh, well, actually, it seems to be agreeable. So, yeah. Let's see here if they have any more things and all that. So they seems to have something in regards of a Trinity. Yeah, and you have to be careful in regards to people also writing on subjects and all that, because as we know, the devil is out working, and some of the people I think actually a lot of the people that is working in regards to these, mainstream research and all that, have an agenda that goes against God. So they're working for Satan and writing these books, and so you really have to be careful in regards of, when they try to discredit people and all that, just, and, we know better now, and just, they might just be out there trying to discredit the truth. The Roman Catholics have a way of, doing that all over, It's very sad to see. And, it's, anti-Catholic and Catholic bashing and blah, blah, blah bullshit, No, they were just standing on truth, But you can find some interesting sources, I saw this Roman Catholic program where they just made fun of the anti-Catholic things and all that, in regards of the US and the people in the US being Protestants and all that, just making fun of it and all that. Yeah, it's not really something that you would make, but they do, they make fun of it, oh, those anti-Catholic and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe that was a reason they were anti-Catholic, maybe because they actually stood for truth, So, Catholics are, it's the worst of the worst, I just don't have any, they are looking like the real thing, and yet they are deceptive, they are pagan worshippers, they're worshipping Satan, and yet they, make them out to be Christians, Which is utterly outrageous. And they do a really good job at it, at looking like the real thing. Yeah. Oh, here we have in regards to the tree, in regards of, let's see what it says about that. It stands with the tree, it's like, this is Assyrian apparently, but Assyrian was also very close to the Babylonians. I think they took over the Babylonians for a time, but as I understand it, they actually had a very, what do you call it? And as I understand it, we also have things where they trying to translate from the Babylonian. Anyway, okay, let's see. The Raymond and Beverly Sackler Assyrian sculpture called Gallery 401 showcases sculptures from the Assyrian capital city of Nimrud. Nimrud, that sounds like Nimrod, Asian Kalhu in a space designed to invoke the original. Apparently, I can't see more information, but this is the image. It's and it looks like he's standing in regards to the tree. One of these sacred trees. It's a little hard to see, I know, but you usually see these things coming from one of these sacred trees. So it seems to be a close up of that, and he's doing something in regards to the sacred tree, I guess. So whatever, bullshit, So yeah, sun again, Yeah, so but of course it evolves, It evolves into many different things, over time, but it's all pagans, solar worship, and then they put these round circles around, the so-called apostles or disciples or whatever images they are making. They're just putting the sun disk around their head, behind their head. Mixing paganism with truth. It's just disgusting. And they stand with this also these animal man-like things are standing with like which apparently also is said to represent there's something in regards to power or something like that. They use this symbol different places, and apparently Roman Catholicism also uses this symbol. Oh, that's actually this thing that he's holding, I guess. Which I still don't. That actually looks like a snake. Two snakes that is on it. Amongst the most iconic intellectual style objects are the so-called log weight. This example in chloride bears the design of the Master of the Beast, and the design is nearly identical to that and nothing more. How do I actually see? This is like an Arabian, it seems, in regards of Arab. Well, it looks like the thing that usually these things have in the hands. I'm not sure if that's the case, but yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. Let's have that look again. Actually, there's a lot of them, apparently. So here we have different ones of them, apparently, which I guess they hold. Here we see the guy holding it with the flower, which probably I think it represents one of these gods and all that. But here we go with all these, and we see it looks like serpents and all that. Of course, we know the snake. And of course, Satan loves unclean animals as well, it seems. Apparently here, someone stands with one, apparently. Still not sure what it's about, but apparently there's difference of them. Looks like the eye, and actually, I see 1, 2, actually the flower of Easter. Or Inanna or Nana or whatever she was called. Here we have serpents, serpents, things. Okay. I don't know. It's just we have a symbol where you have what looks like the sun face or something like that. I'm not sure. He's killing it or something like that. Yeah. Serpents, more serpents. Yeah, the snake have a way of putting. We have 1, 2, 3. No, it's a little hard to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it should be the Star of Easter up there. And serpents, more serpents. Satan has a way of making his mark on the things. Yeah. So here we see, sun god, and then we see the moon, and then we see Easter over there. If they got it right, I really should read the 2 Babylons and see what he says. It's freely available, so it's not, a lot of the good stuff is free in nowadays. Also, there's some text on the image itself, so I'm sure if one could actually read that, that would be, that would help. Here we have, what seems to be the sun symbol in the guy's hat. Here we have more snake things and all that. But, Satan usually puts his mark on things and all that. So not a you can see the text in there, right? Engraved in it. But I don't know what it says, but I'm sure if one could translate it, it would probably, okay, can we just turn it around? Apparently we have a problem here. There we go. So it just keeps on going with the pagan bullshit pretty much. One thing after another. Let's see here, there's another one, yeah. Has like a sun thing on top of his head, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks like maybe an Easter star above him. And he has like what looks like a cross or something like that. Urartu religion. The religion of Urartu civilization, which flourished principality in ancient Armenia from the 9th to the 6th century BCE, was a unique mix of indigenous Hurricane and Mesopotamian gods and all that, yeah. Interesting how the clothes is. They had a lot of these, things on the clothing itself. And actually here we see apparently a statue of Khosrawa the First in Tyrian, and you see on his hat is the moon and the sun on top of. Let's see if we can see it. My mobile will close down in a short while, but here we go. Maybe it's more like a planet actually. So maybe it's not. Are we closing down? I think we're closing down.